Alright, so I don't know what number I might as well able to go for actually, but even then, I think I might actually go for either 1 or 8. 1 or 8. It all depends on because of how the fact that I probably should able to level up my castle right there. So speaking of which, there goes my number 8. So hopefully I can able to level up my castle and join just at the right moment. So yeah, let's see how these other 3 ghosts getting along. See if no, that should be expected at this point. And looks like the event is now happening. You have upset the Great Spider's slumber. Oh my god, he's alive! Well, here's another spider boss, and this time around though, it appears to be having a different name, so I digress, and as you can tell, that every single, some of the castles, as far as I've noticed, doesn't seem to, well, most of them anyway though, some of the castles did manage to able to actually get themselves crumbled over due to the actual lava that's now rising for some reason, and, that's what else you can usually tell about that, so, and of course Pinky lost her cookies as a result for that too, and, yeah, I don't know what it is for this point, folks, other than that, but hey, at least I can able to actually just go ahead and just say that right until now, so. Alright, so that way I could able to create the level 4 castle, so if I manage to able to get, let's just say about, 4, spaces, that way I can able to level up my castle up to level 5. So even then, no, that, as far as I was expecting for this point, so, yeah, there's, Inky's castle's, going increasingly up to level 2, and, oh yeah, we got a battle minigame. Oh yeah, because of that, Clyde right there, he's pretty much right next to Inky, so, that's as far as I can figure, so, anyways though, do we get a new minigame yet? Of course not, because we are playing the exact same minigame again, the spaghetti roll-up. So hopefully, we can just keep on winning this for sure. Alright. There we go. And I think I managed to claim the victory here. I know I do apologize for the awkward pauses, not to mention because of how the fact that you know how this game is utilizes the motion controlled heavy, even then though, because of how the fact that I need to able to, concentrate for the most part. Oh! Looks like Clyde did manage to able to claim himself his castle right now. So, yeah, that's something. So, I guess I should probably explain about this also, is the fact that, recently I've managed to able to got myself by the forms of not 1, but 2 new DVDs that I've got for today. Not to mention because of how the fact that I forgot to mention to you guys about this during later down the road and during today. I've managed to got both of these James Bond films, mainly by the forms of Pierce Brosnan era. I've got the GoldenEye 007, it released in 1995, which is a very, very good James Bond film, as far as I'm aware, an instant classic as a result of that too. And also by the forms of Die Another Day, which even though that film came out in 2002, and seems like everyone else seems to think that GoldenEye definitely is the best of the Pierce Brosnan films out there for the James Bond series, which I will agree on to that, because that was, not only this is actually one of the best Pierce Brosnan films to be existent, but it's also one of the most classic, James Bond films I've ever seen in my entire life. But even then, of course, Inky's gonna go into the alternative way now, again. That just makes no sense, because it just goes through the lava, and then as a result, he didn't get burned by that at all. Jeez, what were they thinking sometimes? Anyways, I've managed to able to upgrade my castle up to level 5, so how about that? And I believe Clyde did manage to able to actually just land on my space, so I think that's pretty obvious at this point to see how we can able to actually go for our next minigame in the lineup. And sure enough, there he is. So, yeah, as far as I'm aware for that. What's convenient about this is the fact that, every time when someone else has managed to go bypass the lava completely, they managed to able to use the magic broom until you're able to actually just to go across. So, I think we've already played this before, ever since in Mirage Oasis, pretty much. So, Oasis or bust. So, might as well go for a longest minigame of the bunch, because obviously it might actually took about like 2 minutes to finish up with this, and plus as a result, kinda like how it did in, Desert Ruins, Zone Act 4 in Sonic Lost World on the Wii U version, basically that, the older scrolling section on this particular minigame, sometimes it just goes absolute slow. Which, even then, I just want to able to actually get this minigame over with in case if we're about to be able to move on to the next one, or maybe sometimes a quicker minigame as a result for this matter. So, yeah, that's as far as I can say. So yeah, the reason why I managed to able to got those 2 James Bond films, obviously, by Pierce Brosnan, even though I've only got 2 left for Pierce Brosnan era of the James Bond series, which are Tomorrow Never Dies and The World Is Not Enough. I'll get those in another time, but right now I've only got Die Another Day and GoldenEye, the instant classic of those James Bond films, along with Goldfinger, which I still haven't got yet, but I've heard so many great things about the forms of Goldfinger as a result. Even though the weakest of the bunch of the James Bond films, as far as I'm aware, is definitely the forms of A View to a Kill. I really can't speak for this point today, folks. A View to a Kill, which is basically released on that specific year, or that familiar year, of 1985, around the same year as the terrible Black Quadrant Disney film that's ever released. So, that first will be able to actually just figure that out. So, anyways though, there we go. Now I've managed to claim my victory with my defense strategy, so I really don't think I can able to actually use my power cookies for now on though, because I've pretty much gonna have to save up for the forms of the later portions of most of the minigames, in case if I need to win some of them at a time, so oh, ouch. That must have been very, very painful for Clyde, as far as cookies and mounts goes. So yeah, you get the point for this point, so yeah, there goes that. Oh yeah, another thing I want to point things out right away, I'm probably not gonna spoil the actual, ending of the films of Mega Man 11 because the videos themselves of Mega Man 11 has already been up until now, and again, I'm probably not going to spoil for the actual points, but even then, I really cannot believe how every people, or some of the people out there, managed to able to actually claim themselves the early copy of the films of Mega Man 11, and as far as I'm aware, speaking of the reviews of Mega Man 11, GameSpot did manage to able to receive the game as a 9 out of 10, which is, I think, is actually pretty good so far, but I'm pretty sure I might as well able to be hoping for the same thing for other reviews, pretty much, like IGN, and especially notable for every fans out there as well, because of how the fact that it's been 8 years since Mega Man 10 entered in 2010, so yeah, it's about freaking time to able to actually announce the classic blue robot, or in this case the blue bomber. So even then though, that makes it pretty obvious for this point. I really don't know if they're going to be announcing Mega Man 12 coming onto pretty much in a modern consoles at this point, but I really don't know for sure yet, because even then, I've heard from some people they're trying to able to actually just to work on like, let's just say Mega Man X9 coming out, but even then we'll find out soon enough. So even then though, yeah, pretty hyped for Mega Man X9, assuming that's announced. So, anyways though, of course, who's gonna get this? Of course, Inky gets this, castle. I don't know about you guys, but, I'm pretty sure my, voice is actually going a little bit off again, but even then, that's what most likely because of how the fact that I'm still a little bit rough around the edges at points at times, but even then, I'm still pretty fine after this, so anyways though, another battle game we're gonna have to deal with right there, and that takes forever to load. I gotta tell you that, guys, now. Alright, do we get a new one? I think we've already played this one, actually, Buddy Forms of Mirage Oasis, so let's do this again. In fact, I really don't mind about this one, though, because this one is actually pretty fun. So, as long as you can able to actually just go ahead and just dodge those electrical stuff right there. So even then, though, let's go ahead and collect those pack dots all over it. And not to mention, because of how the fact that, I should probably say this right now, I think I should probably go ahead and use my, power cookies at this point until whenever we get to the very end of the forms of the actual course. That way I would able to actually use my power cookie, assuming if I able to actually just to see if Pinky and Clyde and Inky as a result they managed to able to get close enough. So even then though, let's just go ahead and shoot. Come on. Do we able to actually catching up? I don't think so. No. Oh well, I tried. I'll give Inky some to that for some victory, but either way, because I've already got like 4 of those power cookies left, so I think that pretty much checks it from there. So once again, Clyde is doing so bad at this particular run through of this board. I know I can understand because of how the fact that I'm still stuck with the forms of the normal difficulty for the most part though. But I really can't guarantee to able to beat those opponents on strong mode. Although I will do this on my own time though, in case if it does even compared to the forms of normal mode. Well, I'm not going to go for weak mode, just because it's just for pussies anyway. So anyways though. Alright, where's the hover boost going to go to this time? Oh, me. Okay, yeah, there's gonna be it's one of those moments how the fact that, if I was not to be able to actually get myself the forms of the hovering boots and stuff like that, but the game encourages me to able to actually let me have those. So, okay, so, I'm probably not gonna use that because, obviously, we're actually nearly towards the end of the forms of the beginning portion of the board, and especially noticeable by the forms of, like, since I'm almost there to the forms of the target amount. So I'm really hoping that most of these computer players manage to able to actually get to the boss itself. But if not, then we can able to actually just to select that in the forms of the minigame free play mode. So even then I figure I might as well do that. So anyways though, there goes both Inky and Pinky are gonna go bypass my castle. So I think if I remember correctly that Clyde is gonna go land onto my level 5 castle, which I'm presuming that correctly. So yeah, I think that's pretty much as far as we will go. Oh man, they instantly managed to able to land my castle. Okay, but first of all, let's do this event very, very quickly in case if we're about to be get something out of it. Oh, really? Whatever. I've already still got 3 of those, so it doesn't really matter. But still, sometimes events like this can get pretty disjointed sometimes. Oh, maybe Clyde is actually gonna go to Inky's castle instead. Okay, I think I'm a little bit more confused right there because sometimes I just concentrate onto the forms of the actual like the instant replay when it comes to like 4 of those players during that time. So anyways, we have Danger Dish again. So behold the power of my broken power cookie. I'm not even joking. That's how it does for that power cookies as a result for that usage. So, well, especially noticeable if you really want to able to kick the computer players' butts. But during the likes of in multiplayer, some players might actually get bored if they manage to get keep on getting their butts kicked by the forms of that broken power cookie system. But either way. Alright, which one's next? Of course, we have this one again. So we've technically already played this, so ever since recently. So I'm hoping I can actually win this time around though, but again, because of my depth perception is going pretty lacking, and especially noticeable because of how the fact that that my character movement is actually going really stiff sometimes, and especially noticeable with these computer players, sometimes they frequently trying to able to use the power cookie, and as a result, they instantly gonna able to kick my butt, no problem right there. It looks like Clyde is going to be using his cookie as well. I'm hoping that I can witness for surely if the power cookie might actually become a thing, and sure enough, I lost that by, I think I've lost by 3 because of how the fact that, because again, seems that sometimes computer players are so, like, stingy sometimes, even by the forms of, like, if I was going to be able to winning the power cookie as a result, but never happened, but, oh well. But at least I'll let Inky win on that as well, just like pole position, but either way, there's Clyde, managed to get bankrupted for the 3rd time, and, yeah, don't know why I was up with him. So, for the most part, though, I might as well able to go after, like, 1 or 2, because, or in this case, just 1 for now, because I really still waiting, but in forms of those computer players are gonna go approach to the boss, so I think I might as well do that, so... Ah, damn it! Oh well, we'll select that in a free play mode. But either way, Spooky Hollow is now pretty much done, so... Oh well, no big deal. I think we should probably be able to actually just say this right now, that we're instantly gonna go into the forms of the actual boss battle minigame, in the forms of this board in particular, in the minigame free play mode. So even then though, I figured I might as well do that, so you know. So yeah folks, I've managed to claim my 3rd victory of my performance of the forms of Pac-Man Party, and I have no idea why. The actual front was actually next to the bridge. I mean, could be possible if how the fact that most of the players were able to actually bypass the bridge, and yeah, that's just kind of weird. So anyways, that's it for Spooky Hollow, but again, we're not gonna go through the end of the video just yet though. Oh yeah, for that item keeper right there, that only happens if you manage to able to keep your hovering boots this whole time. So even then though, if you keep a hold of your hovering boots, because if you couldn't tell, I pretty much did not use that item for this point. Because, you know, that's one of those achievements that you can able to actually accomplish. So, where was the actual boss minigame? In fact, it was actually right there. So, we'll be able to actually get into Showdown with Admon. So, let's just see how this boss battle minigame works. It takes place in this giant spider web. Alrighty, so Showdown with Admon is a showdown on Onimon's giant web. From the trapped, free the trapped butterflies and lull him into the attack positioning. Don't fall off. So, what I found super weird is the fact that you can able to actually take control of your character, but simply you have to tilt in the Wii remote in the corresponding direction, which is a bit weird, but even then though, that it's alright for the actual momentum and everything, but again, you really don't want to able to actually fall down to the lava, because obviously you're able to get stunned for a few seconds, so... But obviously in this minigame it's very simple, and it's also very quick as well, unlike any forms of, the boss fight from the Mirage Oasis, is the fact that you can able to actually free those butterflies, and then every time you actually free one of those butterflies, you're able to get some points. So, very simple, self-explanatory right there, but that's how I think it is. And I believe Admon's damage output, it was actually forms of the actual pumpkin dropping from the forms of the butterflies themselves. As soon as when it gets to the halfway point of this boss fight, itself, basically what happens is the fact that some of these web parts will attempt to able to scatter sometimes, and also you need to be very careful right there, because obviously that if you get hit by that little laser attack that as far as he did before, he basically gives you a knockback. So even then though, I would expect it to see how this will turn out. So. Although, the reason why I'm not going to activate the power cookies on this minigame though, because I think this minigame's power cookie usage is still incredibly broken sometimes, because, well, all it does is just basically you're actually able to actually give you a big advantage of points amounts. So, anyways though, he's not done yet, so hopefully we can able to free more of those butterflies. And just like he forms of how it does it in Mirage Oasis, every time you get trapped inside, every time you get trapped, sorry, but in forms of the web attack, you can able to actually break free from it, but simply you have to like shake the Wii remote or just press the 2 buttons. So that's how it goes, and I think that's about it. See, it's very fast and quick, unlike the forms of the previous boss fights. So yeah, there goes, Admon. So, and I've no idea why we've actually able to actually get, catch by the forms of the butterflies. I'm pretty sure the butterflies already knows what they're capable of, so they pretty much got us just to able to actually not fall down to the lava or anything. And I found it was kind of weird to able to actually let the ghosts have wings. I mean, they can easily fly for the most part because obviously they're ghosts. So, anyways though, that's pretty much it for Spooky Hollow for Pac-Man Party. And I'll pretty much seem to say that we're gonna have to end things off for this point right there. So join me next time on Let's Play Pac-Man Party from the Nintendo Wii/Nintendo 3DS. It's the fact that we're gonna be taking on to the forms of the fourth board in the game, Crystal Cliffs. But again, we're definitely gonna be able to upload that during next Sunday. So yeah, see you guys next time. Later, fellas.